Another Fox News alert: the city of Pittsburgh in mourning, with thousands attending a memorial service yesterday for the 11 victims killed in their synagogue. The victims ranging in ages from 54 to 97 years old. A husband and wife among them, and from another family, 2 brothers. Despite the tragedy, the community standing strong and unified.
We will rebuild. We won't let hate beat us down. Well, how do you stop it? We've been trying to stop hate since the earliest days of the Bible. Words of hate are unwelcome in Pittsburgh.
Pennsylvania Congressman Keith Rothfus joins us now. Thank you for your time this morning. This is an incredibly difficult time for everyone there and across the country. Calls for unity this morning. How are people doing there?
You know, people have a firm resolve here in Pittsburgh. This is a tightly knit community, Squirrel Hill in particular. Everybody's very close. This has been just an unimaginable tragedy. And there are waves of grief as we, this morning in the paper, we're learning about the life stories of the victims. And you read about what giving people they were. And it just brings that renewed sense of grief. And I cannot express the appreciation for the people of Western Pennsylvania, the people of Pittsburgh, the people of Squirrel Hill, for people across this country who have reached out to this city. We've had visitors from all over. We had the minister from the diaspora, Naftali Bennett, come in from Israel yesterday, Ambassador Ron Dermer, Ambassador Diane from the Council in New York. Just this outpouring of support has been tremendous. The Jewish Federation of Greater Pittsburgh has set up a website for folks across the country who may be interested in supporting the needs of the people who are affected by this tragedy. So again, I just thank everybody for their support.
So important to hear those family stories this morning and share the stories of the victims, one of them your constituents. But we're learning this morning of brothers that were so close that died in this. A husband and wife married for over 60 years, a grandfather, a new grandfather among the victims. It's so important this morning that we wake up and remember those who lost their lives in this, Congressman.
And this is where that renewed sense of grief comes in, because you realize this just wasn't a number. You have 11 individuals, 11 shattered families, and every one of those persons was a vibrant contributor to their community.
When you hear calls for unity, and you're hearing this from across the country, it feels like it's just so badly needed in this country. In the words of the rabbi, we will rebuild. How do you go about doing that? How do you wake up this morning and change things?
You take a look at where things are at, and you have to start to have some serious conversations. I think you look at what this particular shooter was doing, the vile comments that he had put out there on social media, the anti-Semitic hatred that he was spewing forth. We always say, see something, say something. Somebody was aware of the animus. We have to call it out. And we have to look for what does unify us. You know, this country has been divided at times in its history, and I just recall Abraham Lincoln constantly going back to what was in our Declaration of Independence, focusing on what should unite us. The idea of equality and God-given rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and to rally around those tenets. You know, these individuals, they were robbed of their right to life on Saturday. They were robbed of their free exercise of religion. To go into a holy place on a day of worship and to have this act committed. Find what's in our founding documents, rally around that. That's what should unite the American people.
It's so badly needed to hear all of that this morning, Congressman. You know, when we're talking about bringing back unity and unifying as a country, and that is a national conversation that needs to be had, but on the ground there, just within your community, and the grieving that is being done this morning, and the remembrance of those victims and honoring them, how do you, on the ground level, how do you bring your community back together?
You start by having conversations. You start by being there. When I heard of the shooting, I went to Squirrel Hill, even though it's not in my district. Look, this is a region where people work together. You can have differences, but you try to find the common good. And there were people across so many different paths I met with on Saturday. All the local leaders who were out, the members of the community, the faith community, and it allows you to continue to build those relationships.
Congressman Rothfus, our prayers and our thoughts are with all of those in your community across the country as we continue this conversation and we watch your community rebuild.
Well, again, I can't thank you enough for the attention that's being paid to the good people that were affected by this and the support that we have gotten from across the country and across the world.
Prayers are with you all. Thank you.